Hey guys, welcome to Red's Projects. Today, I'm going to start rebuilding my Powerglide for the XGU. Now, I've never built an auto before. I'm just going off a few videos I've watched, what mates and co-workers have told me, and a couple books I've read about it. So, I'm by no means an expert. This isn't really a video on how to do it. It's let's build it together and learn a bit along the way. So, before I get stuck into it, I've been accumulating a lot of parts for this, so I'll lay all the parts out and we'll go through each of them. I'm sure there's something else I'm going to need, but I won't know until I pull it apart. So I'll push this aside, we'll get all the stuff on the table and we'll go through them together. Alright, so first thing I got was a rebuild kit, or a overhaul kit. And this should pretty much have everything I need to build it. It's got all the fibres, the steels, bushes, a filter, gaskets, seals, O-rings, pretty much everything I need. The only thing I noticed it didn't have was a band, so I might need to buy a band separately, but yeah, this should cover pretty much everything I need to freshen up and rebuild that Powerglide. Alright, so next piece I got is a Tci Valve Body. This is a full manual trans brake, regular forward pattern valve body. And you get the option of Sportsman and Pro Tree for the trans brake. And I went for the Pro Tree model. And basically it releases a little bit quicker, but to get it into reverse, you gotta click reverse and then hold the trans brake button to go backwards. So I didn't really care either way. This was the one that was in stock. Price was much the same as well, so I didn't really care either way, so I just went with that. And this should work really well. As you know, drag cars, trans brakes go together really well, and yeah, being full manual, it should shift pretty firm and pretty good. So this will suit my needs really well. Alright, so this next bit is also from TCI. So obviously the column shift in the XG isn't going to work with Powerglide, so I got a nice TCI shifter for it. And it is a gated shifter. So in my Falcon I got a sequential shifter. This is a gated shifter. So we're in park, pull all the way back to first, and you got first, second, or top gear, and you can't go any further. You just go back and forwards, first and second. If you want to go neutral, pull the lever, push her into neutral. If you want to go reverse, click the reverse lever, punch it forward into reverse, and then if you want to park, you pull the lever again. So it's a little bit complicated, but it's a bit hard to stuff up like on the drag strip. And if you're driving around the street, you're just going to be in this position, going back and forth between first and second. So the idea is to mount this up a little bit off the floor and maybe have it come back a little bit over the bench seat. And I want to have the trans brake button behind it. So I can pull up to the start line, hold the trans brake button, then I can let go with like my whole arm, hands, just pull away from the trans brake, and then as you come for top gear, just bump it forward into top gear, both hands on the wheel, drive through the traps. So yeah, a mate of mine had one of these shifters in a Barra powered XF, and I just really like the feel of it, and I really like the mechanism of the gate style shifter, so I thought I'd try it out for this car, and I think I'm going to like it. Alright, so next bit is an expensive one. Because this Powerglide is out of a early Holden, like a HR Holden, and it was behind a 6-cylinder. It has a 182 planetary for first gear, and they're kind of weak, and everyone I talked to said I was crazy to try and run that behind an LS, let alone spraying a whole bunch of nitrous. I really wanted to run that the way it was to save money, but if that planetary comes apart and breaks the case or just does damage in there, then it's going to be a lot more money to fix it if I have to buy another case and just build, like start from scratch. So I basically had to get myself a new planetary. This is a Hughes Performance 1:7:6 ratio planetary. It's basically a reconditioned OEM GM V8 planetary. And over here in Australia, these are pretty expensive. It's like $1,600–1,700 bucks. If I had gone fancier and gone like an aftermarket carrier with like straight cut gears and stuff like that, it's like $3–4 grand. It's just really expensive. So if there's one part that's going to break the budget on this car, it's probably going to be this. But anyway, let's get it out and have a look. So there she is. This is basically our output shaft where our tail shaft will go onto, and it kind of sits like that. So this is our first gear. It obviously has a 1:7:6 ratio for first gear, and when you go top gear, this all locks up as one unit and it goes 1:1. So this is basically the heart of the box. So it was kind of stupid not to upgrade it. So this should be good for like 700-ish horsepower, I'm told, and that's going to take me a while to outgrow that. So this should last me a while. Alright, I'm starting to run out of cool stuff to show you now. I've got dipstick for it. This is just a plain, simple steel locking dipstick, which I shouldn't have any issues with mounting in the car. I've got heaps of room around the bell housing and firewall and stuff, so that was just a cheap piece that will get me by. That's also TCI. And I got a new pan because when I put this auto in the car, the pan's all rusted and pitted, and I didn't really want to reuse it, so I just got a simple tin replacement pan. Nothing fancy. I could have gone like a deep aluminium pan, but I just went with the cheap one just to get me by for now. And that about does it for all the parts for this thing. There's definitely some stuff I've missed, like I need to get before I completely finish it. Like I said, I need probably a new band for it, unless this one's in amazing condition. A lot of people replace the band adjustment stud, screw, whatever you want to call it, with a hardened one, or just a stiffer, harder bolt. And the forward clutch drum assembly, because it's a 6-cylinder one, it'll only have like 4 or 5 clutches. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to wait till I pull it out and have a look. But that's pretty much no good for performance use, I'm told. So I might have to buy another one of those that will hold, 7 or 8 clutches that I need to hold all the power. But I won't really know until I've got it apart. So I'll clear this stuff off and we'll start pulling this thing down and yeah, have some fun, learn some things. Alright, so it's stinking hot today and I'm starting to run out of time. So I'm just going to take the bell off, the tail housing, and maybe take the pan off and have a bit of a look. We'll leave all the important stuff on the inside for next video. I can do it all in one video from start to finish, which will be a lot better for anyone trying to learn, or just for me to go back and have a look and see what I've done. So start with the bell. Alright, and the tail. Alright. Actually looks pretty good in there. Alright, I might as well just pull the pan off as well. Ooh. Look at all the colours in there. Must have had some water in there at some point. There's a whole lot of nasty stuff in there. Alright, so you can see it's relatively clean inside it. There is obviously some contamination from what it looks like leaves and crap might have come in through the filler hole, and water and stuff. It must have been sitting outside for a while, I think. So I got a decent cleanup to do on the inside, but nothing looks rusty or anything, which is good. So to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, so I'm going to end the video off here. I'm going to watch a few more videos, read a few more of the manuals I've got before I go any further, and we'll go from there in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.